First of all, what we found is that the best relationship between oil prices and consumer spending happens with a pretty long lag. So consumers start spending maybe a quarter or two after they spend less to heat their homes or, to fill up their cars. So I don't think that this is going to show up in the numbers immediately. Anyone who's expecting this to show up in sales immediately might be disappointed. I also think that consumer stocks are kind of your classic early cycle leadership. So they work really well when the Fed's stimulating consumption and they want you to borrow and spend, but they tend to do okay, but not necessarily lead at a point where, the Fed's done, the economy is okay.
Yeah, that's what I think is so amazing. And you mentioned that last year was 2.5 times Cyber Monday in the U.S. And if you look at last year's entire Cyber Week, starting from Thanksgiving all the way till a week out, it's going to be larger than that entire week in the U.S. And we think about $8.5 billion, which would be about a 45% grower off of the $5.8 billion last year, which is tremendous when you think last year it grew 80% year over year. So a tough comp, but still a tremendous grower. Yeah, it should be some of the retailers. So you've had T-Mall. Finally, is the first year, the difference between last year and this year, this is the first year where you actually have brands going global. It used to be a Chinese-only holiday, and now you're seeing it global. So I think that's going to help some of the growth rate here. And JD.com, I think, will also participate in China as well. Well, what's amazing is the first quarter they've reported, you had an acceleration in active users, you had an acceleration in GMV, you had an acceleration in mobile. So you see this strong growth on Singles Day on the 11th. You can see it as a proxy for how well the quarter may be able to outperform, and then people would have to readjust their estimates.
In plain English, I'm asking them to recognize that for most Americans, the internet has become an essential part of everyday communication and everyday life. The FCC is an independent agency, and ultimately this decision is theirs alone. But the public has already commented nearly 4 million times asking the FCC to make sure that consumers, not the cable company, gets to decide which sites they use.